Welcome to Ace Reviews. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Supretro micro console. So this is a retro console emulator. Emulates about 8 to 10 arcade machines or stroke consoles. The device itself is based on the Android platform with a custom skin called Pandora's Mini. If we do a little hardware walkthrough of the device, we've got a power button here, a little LED light. Got a charging micro USB, a trans flash card here. It is actually supplied with a 32 gig Lexar trans flash card. Pretty surprised to receive that. It is actually loaded with goodies in inverted commas. Got a 3.5-inch jack, got a mini HDMI out, volume rocker here. If we just carry on looking at the device, it's actually made of fairly smooth, reasonably refined white ABS plastic in this case. It comes in several colors. Screen is 3.5-inch with a resolution of 640 by 480. And what really drew me to this device is the general look and feel. It reminds me of the old Gameboy. You also have a fairly sturdy joystick, rocker type joystick, a D-pad and 6 buttons with some menu buttons, home, select and start. So I'm going to switch the device on and let's run through the software. Power button on the side. While the system is booting up, it does take a minute or two from cold boot, maybe not a minute or two, but certainly 30 or 40 seconds. So this is essentially the product or the brochure for the product itself. It's a multi-emulator, has Wi-Fi, has 8-hour claimed battery life, a resolution of 640 by 480, supports external Bluetooth gamepads, TeamPlay, HDMI out and Bluetooth. Runs on a ARM Mali chip. I have no idea how fast that is. I suspect it's not very fast at all. It's got Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, obviously. The resolution is something that is very good considering these retro consoles. Search facility. It's got a market game loader, which I will come across. Build as a Wi-Fi one-click networking. Supports instant game saves, and these are essentially the emulators that it supports. I mean, I was particularly attracted because this emulator or this machine, I guess, supports Dreamcast and Nintendo 64. So for a device and many competing devices, I thought this was a little bit unusual, a little bit unique. So I thought I'd give it a go. So once you boot in, let's go into the main menu. So it's a long press of home, brings you back out to the settings screen. And essentially what you have here is, I think you can map keys, you can actually change various settings, add a Wi-Fi network, add Bluetooth devices, change the brightness, change the sound, sleep, etc. And you can set individual settings for your games here, favorites, etc. Manage your games. Actually, it's got one option here which I haven't tried, which is reducing the resolution or increasing the resolution. I've left it on HD. It does say you'll get some battery drain. I have no stats on actually how long this battery will last. So this, let me go back out again. One thing I wanted to just highlight is the game market. So essentially what this is a game catalog, which allows you to download pretty much any game from these supported emulators for demo purposes, or to be downloaded for demo purposes, of course, unless you own the original ROMs. So let's go into one of these. Let's pick a fighting game. Here we go. And the idea is you just choose a fighting game you want and you can just download that. Let's go back out. The system does come with quite a few pre-installed games for demo purposes on the supplied 32 gig Lexar micro SD card. Let's go through the actual consoles now, or the emulators themselves. So under category, we can see that we have access to a PlayStation Portable emulator, the original PlayStation emulator, Nintendo 64, NES, I think, Super NES, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, or Game Boy Advanced, Mega Drive, Sega Genesis. What's that one? That is PC Engine, Dreamcast, Final Burn Alpha Arcade, and MAME. And we're back to PlayStation Portable. I'll give you a demo of one of the games. So, for example, let's give you a demo of some of the more graphical intensive, or the more higher powered retro consoles. Here we go, Chinese version. So this is a shoot 'em up, a Dreamcast game. It takes a while to load. I mean, this is considered more graphically challenging in terms of hardware. Here we go. Seems to be running fairly smoothly, considering. Sounds a little bit choppy. Here we go. For a fairly graphical intensive game, to run at these kinds of speeds and at this kind of performance is fairly impressive. So we'll come out of that, and you can come out anytime. Exit game. Here we go. Let's now launch into a, what should we launch into? Maybe one of the PlayStation games. Oh, how about Mario Kart? This is definitely a little bit harder to emulate. Device feels really, really light. I'm going to have to open this device. It just feels almost too light. There we go. Play a game. Go for Mario. Oh, sounds a little bit choppy. Sounds a little bit choppy. Oh. Let's get it out on that one. Here we go. Actually, you can see me moving the thumb pad here, or the little mini joystick, and it's pretty responsive. Pretty responsive. You can also use a D-pad. There we go. Getting distracted there. There we go. Okay. Actually, it feels like quite a nice gaming experience. I am a casual gamer. I'm not really an experienced gamer, so to speak. All right, let's come out of that. We're back here. There's quite a few games loaded. So just to wrap up this review, so you've got a micro games console emulator, essentially with running on an Android operating system, with I think a really slick front end. Really impressed. Pretty solid hardware controls. I think if you're aiming for the retro arcade console type devices, this is not a bad choice. I certainly think the build quality is excellent. It's a little bit light, but it feels very sturdy in your hand. I feel I can sort of play with this and really handle it, and it will, I necessarily won't damage it. So I think that's pretty much it. I think I'm certainly going to give it a thumbs up for the price and what you're getting in ease of use, especially access to the game market. I think this is, a standout device compared to some of the other consoles out there, and certainly nostalgic for me. And reminds me of the old Game Boy days. I hope you enjoyed my review of the Supretro micro console. Please leave your feedback below. This is one of my early and one of my first reviews. So any feedback is appreciated. Thank you very much. Bye for now.